Here are 15 dumb ways that people have accidentally committed suicide.
Number 1. Franz Reichelt and his parachute pants. Franz was born in 1878. He was Austrian and Hungarian born. He created a parachute suit and thought that it could help him fly. So in 1912, Franz told the press that he had been given permission to jump off the Eiffel Tower to prove that his invention would work. He died that same day. Can you guess how? Well, let me tell you. On Sunday, February 4th, 1912, Franz arrived at the Eiffel Tower early that morning, already wearing his parachute suit. Police officers were there to keep the peace on that cold February day. Franz had gotten permission for a dummy drop and was supposed to drop a dummy instead, but Franz had so much trust in his invention that he decided to secretly wear it instead and even refused to use a safety rope. Soon after climbing up the Eiffel Tower, Franz readied himself to make his jump, and you can see him doing that in the picture. He hesitated quite a bit. It's almost as if he knew his fate. Finally, he calmly made his leap and went straight down into the pavement. He left an indentation of his body in the road. One of the newspapers reported that his right arm and leg were both crushed. He was bleeding from his nose, ears, and his mouth. His spine and skull were broken, and his eyes were wide open. That's right, number 2. Captain Matthew Webb. In April 1875, Webb was the first man to swim the English Channel. This may have been part of the reason why he announced his intention to swim across the base of the Niagara Falls in 1882. Well, people told him that it was not wise. However, on July 24th, 1883, he began his swim anyway. A Niagara Falls constable said that he was going to arrest Webb because his plan was suicidal. Webb's response was, "Don't care, I want money and must have it." Unfortunately, Webb was sucked into a whirlpool within 10 minutes of entering the water. Webb was temporarily paralyzed by the weight of large amounts of water, causing him to not be able to move his limbs, and he wasn't able to breathe. They found his body 4 days later. Number 3. Kenneth Pinion. Kenneth died in 2005 from peritonitis due to his colon being punctured after repeatedly having anal sex with a horse. The 2007 documentary Zoo is based off of his life and death. Yikes. Number 4. Lalana Marie Duffy. Duffy claimed that one of her female neighbors harassed, stalked, and made unwanted advances toward her. As a result, Duffy went out and got a restraining order. Although Duffy no longer lived by her neighbor, she was apparently still upset and would occasionally return to her old neighborhood to spy on her neighbor. Duffy created a pipe bomb in an effort to blow her neighbor to smithereens. In January 1999, Duffy rented a white GMC van and replaced the license plate with one from a vehicle that she had previously owned. As she was trying to remove the bomb from the van and put it at the home of her neighbor, the bomb exploded in her lap, killing her instead of her neighbor. Some accounts say that police found Duffy's uterus outside of her van after the explosion. Unfortunately, I couldn't find an accurate picture of Duffy, but this is what I thought she might look like. Number 5. Thornton Jones. In 1924, Thornton Jones, a lawyer in Wales, woke up to find that his throat was slit. Motioning for a paper and pencil, he wrote, "I dreamt that I had done it. I awoke to find it true," and died 80 minutes later. He had done it himself while unconscious. An inquest at Bangor delivered a verdict of suicide while temporarily insane. Number 6. Thomas Midgley Jr. was an American mechanical and chemical engineer. At the age of 51, in 1940, he contracted polio, which left him severely disabled. He devised an elaborate system of ropes and pulleys to lift himself up out of bed. In 1944, he became entangled in the device and died of strangulation. Number 7. Christoph Azaninski was a Polish farmer who cut his own head off in 1995. I couldn't find a picture of him, so this one will have to do. 30-year-old Azaninski was drinking with some friends when someone suggested that they all strip naked and play some men's games. At first, they were hitting each other over the head with some frozen turnips, but then one man decided to make it even more thrilling by cutting off the end of his foot with a chainsaw. To appear more masculine than his friend, Azaninski grabbed the chainsaw and shouted, "Watch this then!" He swung at his own head and chopped it off. One of his friends said, "It's funny, when he was young, he put on his sister's underwear, but he died like a man." Excuse me, please, cut that off. Can you cut that off, please? Thank you. Number 8. On April 2nd, 1988, a veteran skydiver named Ivan Lester McGuire was filming a jump by an instructor and a student from the Franklin County Sports Parachute Center. Unfortunately, McGuire jumped from a plane without a parachute. He was so focused on the filming process that he apparently forgot to put his parachute on, and he may have mistaken his camera equipment for a parachute. Number 9. Michael Godwin was a 28-year-old American criminal who was convicted of murder. He was initially given a death sentence by electrocution, but then it was reduced to life in prison. Godwin died from electrocution when he bit into wires while attempting to fix a broken television set, at the same time that he was sitting on a metal toilet in his prison cell at the Central Correctional Institute in South Carolina. Number 10. Mark Gleason was a 26-year-old from Headley Down, Hampshire. He attempted to cure his snoring by inserting tampons into his nostrils. He died from suffocation, with sleeping pills adding to his breathing difficulties. Number 11. An unnamed 43-year-old Irish woman died of an anaphylactic allergic reaction to dog semen after having sex with a German Shepherd. The German Shepherd's owner, Sean McDonald, and the woman met in an internet chat room for bestiality. The dog's owner, McDonald, was prosecuted and added to a sex offender list, and unfortunately, the dog was later destroyed. 12. In South Korea, a 40-year-old man in a wheelchair rammed his wheelchair into elevator doors 3 times because he was upset that the elevator had closed before he could get on. Well, the force of his chair opened the elevator doors and he fell inside the empty elevator shaft, plunging to his death. 13. An unnamed Belarusian fisherman who was 60 years old bled to death after being bitten by a beaver, which he tried to grab in order to have his picture taken with it. Number 14. Alexander Sasha Chechik of Russia sent his friend this photo of a grenade with the pin pulled out while chatting on the Russia social media service VK. Chechik died shortly after as the grenade in his hand exploded. And finally, number 15. 24-year-old Zafer Kuzu from Turkey attempted to escape a community service sentence for inflicting injury on someone else, so he decided he would get himself hospitalized to get out of his community service sentence. He strapped 2 pillows to his back to reduce the shotgun's power and asked his friend to shoot him in the back. Unfortunately, he was killed and the friend arrested.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Oh, and don't forget to log on to my online bookstore, www.burksbooks.com. There I have tons of books and journals that you can download. I'll see you in the next video.